Everybody wants to recover. And that's why people spend hundreds, even thousands of dollars per year on all the different supplements, recovery strategies like saunas, ice baths, massage guns, foam rollers, compression boots, electric stimulation little gadgets, and all the new things that come out where the people that are selling it to you promise the world, and they're going to tell you that it's the next best thing and it's going to be the most effective thing to improve your recovery and improve your fitness. Well, what if I told you that most people are spending the most amount of time on the things that are the least effective? In this video, I'm going to go over the recovery pyramid, or the hierarchy, what you should spend most of your time on doing that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Because most people, they just completely skip to the things that are flashy and are least effective. Recovery isn't rest. It is the training adaptation that we need. We stress our bodies with exercise, whether that's running or strength training or rucking, or really anything that just stresses our body where we're wanting it to improve in our performance or our muscle mass. And it's that recovery after you stress your body where the body rebuilds itself, makes it faster, stronger, more powerful, whatever you're trying to achieve. In the days or hours after that training session is when you recover, and then you get better and you improve your performance in your recovery. So if you don't have your recovery dialed in, you're not going to improve your performance or reach your goals. So at the bottom of our recovery hierarchy, we have our foundation. These are the things that we want to spend the most time and attention on that are going to give us the biggest bang for our buck and be the most effective. You know, I read a book, Running with the Kenyans, where they don't have any fancy recovery modalities except for they do a lot of massage and foam rolling. And they go so far off of these 4 foundational, just critical things that they just focus on day after day, year after year. And it just goes so far, and they are the best runners in the world. Number 1 is just proper programming. If you don't have a good scientifically based and elite, structured program that is just completely just all over the place, you are not going to have good recovery, because training is a stress. And when we stress our body too frequently, we're not going to recover we're not going to have the time to recover between those sessions. So we want to have some hard days throughout the week, but only 2 to 3 real hard days. This is how we have hard days hard and easy days easy, so that every day just doesn't turn into a hard run, and the next day circuit training, then full body strength, then another hard run, then maybe more circuit training, and then an extra hard long run over the weekend. Now every day is hard, and you're not allowing yourself to recover between those sessions. You should have progressive overload over time. So now we're talking about minimal effective volumes. The least amount of training that you can do to maximize, not maximize, but to just still improve your performance. Because when you're trying to do the maximum amount you can do to improve your performance drastically fast, that's where overuse injury comes in. That's where you're not recovering, because it's just too much stress on the body. And when you have too much stress, your body just plateaus, it overtrains, and it affects all your other recovery systems that I'm going to talk about. Sleep is critical, and it is so often overlooked, especially in the tactical community. And when they start doing it well and spending their time and not wasting time at night doing things that they don't need to be doing, and they start sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, it is game changing for them. Sleep is when your body just rebuilds itself. It releases growth hormone. Your brain recharges. Testosterone is improved. It is when all of your body is a completely relaxed state so that it recovers the fastest. And once you start sleeping well and you have a few rough nights sleep, you will really see how it affects your performance. So how do we improve it? Well, we want to make sure that our room is nice and dark and wind down for several hours before bed. We want to just lower our stress levels by deep breathing and just taking our attention away from work and just trying to relax in those last few hours before bed. We want to make sure that we fall asleep and wake up as consistent times. Our body likes to get into a rhythm with sleep. Getting sunlight throughout the day is really going to help you. The more sunlight you get, as long as you're not getting a sunburn, it is going to improve your sleep because the sun actually helps increase melatonin production at night, which is what helps you fall asleep. And avoid the electronics before bed. If you can't avoid the electronics, wear blue light glasses that just kind of dim everything, because that bright light in your face before bed just, hey, signals your body, we need to be awake right now. That's why we want to just, dim the house, dim the lights, tell the body that it is time to go to sleep. If you can't really make your room dark, a sleep mask has been very helpful for me over the last few years, where you just wear it and it is like a blackout for sure. Nutrition. One of the most common mistakes of training is that people do not have good quality nutrition. Having a horrible diet can take you pretty far with strength training if you have some of those sketchy supplements, but you cannot go far with endurance training with a poor diet. So how do we have a good quality diet? I go over this in detail in an 18-minute video that I released 3 weeks ago. From this video, just fueling your running training or fueling your training. And it is very helpful, comprehensive, tells you what to eat, when to eat it. Essentially, whole foods of all food groups. And if you are a runner and endurance athlete, you need to make sure you're getting in enough carbohydrates and not overeating fats, especially because those are going to fill you up, and then you're not going to eat as many carbohydrates as you would have. So check out that video to go more in depth on the fueling. So most people have heard of those 3 pillars, but I add the 4th pillar of reducing your stress. You could be doing everything correctly. You could be sleeping as best you could, or at least you think you're sleeping enough, but you're not getting good quality sleep. You could be eating all the right things. You could be doing perfect programming, but if your stress levels are out of control, you will just not be productive whatsoever. I like to make the analogy as the body is a stress cup. You can only put so much stress into it before it overfills. Training is a stressor. Endurance training can be a stressor. Strength training can be a stressor. And if those two fill up your stress cup all the way, and there's no room to overfill it with maybe job stress, family life stress, money stress, all those different things that can make us worry when we're thinking about the past or the future, it will just overfill our stress cup without doing any strength or endurance training whatsoever. And we can start feeling overtraining symptoms without training at all and become very unhealthy just because of being chronically stressed. This one is a very complex issue that has to be really individualized for each person based on what is overly stressing them. But it is just important to live in the moment and trust in something outside of only yourself and what you can control. I trust in God, and that has just helped me more than anything else has in the past when I just tried to, fix or overplan or control everything myself. But I've also found deep breathing really helps me a lot, where you just inhale for 4 to 5 seconds and you exhale for 8 to 10 seconds. Nice, full, deep breaths. If you do this for about 5 minutes, around minute 3 or 4, you will just feel your body start responding to it. So do it for 5 to 10 minutes. You could do this a lot throughout the day, 3 times a day if you really need to. And it is very helpful. That sunlight we talked about earlier and just getting outside in nature is very helpful. Just balancing your priorities in life. You know, chasing money or career can be something that just stresses out a lot of people, where at the end of the day, those things can just be taken away at any split second. So prioritize the things that you care about and things that are just more applicable to helping other people and building relationships, which are much more just fulfilling at the end of the day. Lastly, a great way to lower your stress is to do proper training of low intensity. Your low intensity walks or runs that are actually going to improve your aerobic endurance, at the same time lower your stress levels. And hey, like this video, do me a favor. If you haven't already subscribed, just subscribe. But liking the video helps me out more than you can imagine. It is freaking hard being an entrepreneur, especially, you know, in this, just slowly getting this algorithm going, and it helps me out more than you can even imagine. Okay, so that is the foundation, the 4 pillars. Now we're going to talk about that middle of the pyramid that are good bangs for your buck if you have mastered your foundation. I found personally that red light therapy has been very effective. I notice a difference in my soreness levels. They're reduced by like a day. However, red lights are very expensive, so the best bang for your buck is going to be massage or foam rolling. I have a massage gun. These things really just help relax your muscles at the end of the day. You know, there's mixed research on breaking apart scar tissue and what it actually does. But no matter what it does, it is going to loosen those muscles. It's going to improve blood flow. I think that it kind of just really massages that, you know, fascial tissue and lengthens it and just hits your nerves in a certain way that just tells the body that it is a good time to relax that muscle, and then it's going to help you perform better on your next workout. And when you perform better and you move better, especially on your easy runs, you're going to get into a nice autopilot state, and then you're going to relax more during that easy run since you did that massage or foam rolling the day before, and you're not just going to be in pain because the level of tightness and soreness, and then your movement quality will be lower. Things like compression boots are great, but they're also very expensive. Saunas can be great later on in the day, and this is shown to improve your sleep. If you overdo saunas or any of these recovery techniques, it's actually going to, you know, be detrimental to your recovery. So there's such a thing as too much red light, too much sauna, you know, too much massage, all of these things. Anything, any healthy food, even when you eat too much of it, will become unhealthy sooner or later. Ice baths, a lot of people swear by those. Some mixed research. A lot of times when you see mixed research on things and there's a debate on, hey, is this thing as good as everybody says it is? It means there's a benefit to it, but it's not as drastic as all the people that are selling you, you know, that ice bath tub. They're saying it's the greatest thing since the Hostess Twinkie. But in reality, it's going to improve your recovery and performance by probably 5-10%. But when you stack all those together, it adds up to a lot. However, if you just stack all those, you know, middle tier recovery methods before you master that foundation, you're just wasting your time. Spend all your time on the foundations and then add those middle tier stuff. Now, the small optimizations are mainly just supplements and all those weird little recovery gadgets, you know, that come around every once in a while. Supplements are very useful, but if you have a really solid diet and you're not trying to follow those more extreme diets, whether they're carnivore or keto or, you know, vegan, things like that, you shouldn't need any supplement to just completely get that micronutrient or that thing from the supplement. Meaning it is a supplement. It is the frosting or the sprinkles on the cake. It's not the foundation. Your foundation should come from your diet. That's why I recommend just a whole food diet of all the different food groups And if you do that and you really spend your money on a good, grocery bill, then you're not going to need that many supplements. However, they still can be useful. So let's wrap this up. If you're trying to recover better, master the basics first. Spend all your money, your time, your effort, and your intent on those 4 pillars. Get a good, solid strength and conditioning, program that was written by somebody that knows what they're doing and has a degree in it, right? Everybody thinks that they know how to do it, including myself when I was in the Army, and I just completely underutilized the coaches that I had available to me. And I just didn't make as much progress as I could have. Eat a great diet. I know it sounds hard, but once you get into a rhythm, you can eat really tasty, healthy foods. Like we make cakes, cookies all the times that are just with oat flour, honey, chocolate powder. There's no oil or fats in them so that I'm not overeat my fats. I don't undereat fats either, but you can eat a really solid diet, and there's even more and more options every day that are more affordable that are already pre-made. Sleep. Try to do it. I know it's hard. It took me about a year once I got out of the Army to dial in my sleep, but just do it and lower those stress levels. It is not worth it. Sometimes you can't avoid stress, but you can re-perceive any stress into a positive. Whether it's a really hard work situation, you can always re-perceive that into a way that's a glass half full instead of a glass half empty. Just have a positive all-around attitude, and you could have all the same stressors as the person next to you, and you're just not affected by them. Then, after you master the basics, go with those recovery tools, because they are without a doubt helpful. But they're just the icing on the cake, and then those supplements are the sprinkles. Train hard, live ready, embrace the process.